Welcome to a new story made by Oracle One. Offline. Noah Langdon knew the internet like the back of his hand, or at least, he thought he did. His bedroom was a sanctum of screens and gadgets that bathed the walls in an eerie blue glow late into the night. A chaotic array of keyboards, chargers, and half-assembled drones occupied every surface, and his desk was a command center of glowing LEDs. Social media notifications, coding tutorials, live streams, and multiplayer games were the soundtrack of his days. So when the news crackled on the radio that morning, a nationwide blackout has plunged the entire country offline due to a major infrastructure failure, Noah didn't immediately grasp the severity. After all, blackouts had happened before, usually for an hour or two. But as he frantically tapped at his phone and tried to reload his favorite apps, the truth dawned like a cold splash of water. There was no internet. No Wi-Fi. No data. No signal. His phone, a sleek device he'd customized and programmed himself, was suddenly just a glowing slab of useless glass and metal. Noah sat on his bed, scrolling through his mindless memories as if they might somehow download themselves anew. He felt adrift, disconnected from his usual world. Without the internet, the sprawling digital cosmos he'd mastered, and depended on, ceased to exist. The blackout was total, national, and no official ETA on restoration was given. The small town of Asheville was quiet, oppressed by an invisible void that made every second stretch, naked and unfamiliar. He could have tried to rage against it, dive into the last offline game he had stored on a dusty hard drive, or binge on his collection of downloaded movies. But those, too, felt like half measures to fill the vast emptiness left behind. Day 1 without the internet carried a dull panic. Day 2 climbed into disquiet. By day 3, Noah's desperation nudged him beyond his bedroom's flickering LED lights. He needed to move, to see, to find something tangible. His parents noticed his jittery restlessness and tried to engage him with analog activities. His mother, a schoolteacher, suggested reading books from his shelves, while his father offered a deck of playing cards. Noah tried. He flipped pages mechanically, but his mind wandered. He shuffled cards but couldn't bring himself to sit still long enough for a game. On the 4th day, his digital ghosts haunting the silence, he decided to walk outside, beyond familiar streets routed by the usual traffic of Wi-Fi signals. Maybe, he thought, the real world held more depth than he had given it credit for. The town of Asheville had always felt small to Noah. It was the kind of place that didn't warrant much exploration. A cluster of roads bounded by woods, dotted with a few parks, cafes, and the local library. In the usual hustle of life, there was rarely time, or interest, to slow down. But now, with the internet gone, slow was all he had. He donned his jacket, pocketed a flashlight, and stepped into the gray morning. The sky was overcast, the streets unusually hushed. No cars streamed down the main road. More people were walking, faces slack and worried, some holding physical newspapers like relics from another era. Noah's feet carried him toward the town square, a place that had seen countless weekend farmer markets but now stood curiously empty. As he passed the old post office, something caught his eye, an open door to an alley he had never noticed before, veiled between two brick walls draped in ivy. Most days, the alley was gated off and forgotten. Today, the gate was ajar. Curiosity overpowered him. He slipped into the shadowy passage. Inside, the air smelled damp and earthy, a mix of moss and rust. The alley stretched deeper than Noah expected and opened into a small courtyard surrounded by aging stone walls, its center dominated by a massive tree whose roots spilled over the cracked cobblestones like ancient veins. The tree's branches were heavy with dark purple berries, oddly unlike any he'd seen in Ashvale before. But more remarkable were the people. At first, they seemed ordinary. A group of all ages sitting on benches or leaning against walls, some sketching in notebooks, others playing acoustic guitars, laughing quietly, or chatting with a kind of warmth and familiarity Noah had never witnessed in the chilled efficiency of digital communication. A woman with silver-streaked hair looked up and caught his gaze. "Hey, there," she said, smiling. "Not many wander into the hidden court these days." "The hidden court?" Noah asked, surprised. "It's what the locals call this spot," she said, gesturing broadly. "A pocket of Ashvale that the internet and smartphones haven't touched. We meet here when everything else fails." Noah felt a twinge of embarrassment. How had he been so blind? Always with his eyes glued to screens, he had never noticed a world so rich, so unfiltered, right in his backyard. "Come, join us," she invited. Over the next few hours, Noah found himself immersed in analog wonder. There was laughter that didn't come from emojis, music that needed no downloads, stories that inhabited the space between spoken words and thoughtful silences. He met a teenage girl named Lila, an aspiring artist who sketched the world with charcoal she made herself. Her notebook was a treasure trove of whispered strangeness blended with reality. Creatures no phone lens could capture. Places only the human mind could imagine. An elderly man named Mr. Finch told stories of Ashvale's history, of secret tunnels beneath the library, of a maze within the forest just beyond the town's edge, of legends whispered from generation to generation, never posted online, never digitized. Noah listened, captivated. For the first time in days, his mind was not flickering with notifications or drowned in scrolling timelines. It was present, alive. Days passed, and the blackout endured. Noah became a permanent fixture in the hidden court. The tech-obsessed boy who once judged people by their online personas now judged by their stories, their kindness, their laughter. He could still feel an itch for technology, a certain quiet yearning for the hum of circuits and the flood of data. But it was tempered by this new analog life, this unexpected wealth of human connection and discovery. One afternoon, he and Lila set out to explore the secret tunnels Mr. Finch had spoken of, mapping the twisting corridors beneath the library. They unearthed forgotten graffiti and brittle books that no one had bothered to digitize. Noah even began to tinker with old mechanical devices rescued from thrift stores, wind-up radios, typewriters, and dusty cameras, learning to appreciate the tactile, physical reality of creation. Then came word. Partial internet restoration was underway in some cities, but Ashvale was not yet connected. Noah, who once would have been devastated, felt oddly ambivalent. He had changed, or more accurately, grown beyond his former self. One night, as he sat with his makeshift band in the hidden court, strumming a borrowed guitar under lantern light, he realized something important. The internet was a wonderful tool, an endless playground of knowledge and connection. But it was not the only world. Not the only way to belong. The blackout had forced him offline, but it had plugged him into a deeper, denser life. The analog pulse of faces, voices, places and stories that no network could replicate. He smiled quietly. Offline, he had truly logged in. Like and subscribe for more stories.